And there's a lot of emotions involved. Such a big decision. So I totally agree. I joke around that I'm, a part-time therapist in my real estate business because I'm just there to hold space for my clients, help them really get what they need, and just learning some of the tools and techniques from QC are things that I didn't even know existed prior to it. So it was so good for me to learn something so different. I am a true believer that the sky is the limit, and every individual out there should continue to learn and grow. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether it's real estate or you own your own business. I mean, we all do customer service at the end of the day. And I think the way that you say things is so impactful.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of the Badass Manifester podcast. I have an amazing guest today. I'm super excited for this conversation. This conversation is for all of you who are out there, who are entrepreneurs, who are getting it, who are crushing it, real estate professionals, just working in another industry, but using this podcast as mindset and energy up levels. This episode is for you specifically because I have my dear friend, JoJo Sandhu. She is a real estate expert, boss. She is an amazing marketer. She's an incredible human being and an incredible quantum coach. She's a graduate of Quantum Coaching Academy. And I wanted to bring her on today to share about, number one, how she has manifested this amazing transition from an old career to a new career, and how she decided to get certified in QCA to up-level her real estate career, which I think is so interesting because you think, oh, I'm going to do a coaching certification because I want to be a coach. And the reality is that we are all coaches, whether we know it or not, whether you do it professionally or not. So I'm super excited for you to meet her and to bring her in. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm so excited to be here today and to, work with you and do all the work together that we've done over the last few years.
Yes, so much has happened. So JoJo and I met through yoga. I was teaching a yoga class on the beach, and up walks JoJo.
Yeah, I was walking the beach that day. I was looking for beach yoga and, kind of had an experience that didn't really work out in my favor because I got canceled on a beach yoga class. Walking down the beach with my girlfriend, and I see this girl teaching yoga, and I'm like, let's just wait for her to be done and see if she teaches here every weekend. And she did. Every Saturday and Sunday, started doing beach yoga with you.
Yeah, it was so cool. So that's how we connected initially, and you at the time were working in the medical field.
I was working in healthcare, doing a lot of consulting work, a lot of customer service. I was traveling all the time. I had so many different things going on, and it was amazing. But I think I was at a point where I wanted to figure out what I really wanted to do. And that's when I think you and I got a little bit closer together, and I started using you as my life coach, which I didn't even know what that meant at the moment.
It's crazy. So crazy. I just remember you being so successful, monetarily successful, and you just had so many good things happening. And sorry, my dog is walking in, and I don't want him to walk in and interrupt us, but he just did. Anyway, it's fine. But you wanted more. You wanted more freedom. You wanted more space. And so you were just trying to figure it all out. So can you just share about that transition for you? Because you were in your mid to early 20s, making a lot of money. And you were helping people, but you were also working crazy hours.
Definitely. So yeah, I feel like my 20s, I really hustled. I worked really hard. I did all of the things, but I really focused on my education. I got my master's while I was working full time. And my last healthcare job, it was amazing. I got to build so much. I got to work for a startup company. I helped make a proprietary workflow system. I did all the things. I did sales, I did networking, I did client management. And at the end of the day, I learned so much from all of my healthcare experience, but yes, I was helping clients. I was doing these really innovative projects at hospitals, at offices, trying to get healthcare providers incentive money out there. I mean, who doesn't want free money at the end of the day?
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel fulfilled. You know, I felt like there was more. I was helping people at the end of the day, and I know that's always something that I've wanted to do. But I was working my life away. I woke up at 6 a.m., I'd work out, I would go to bed at 11, and sometimes I'd stay up all night and just do it all over again.
Yeah, you would do all-nighters for work.
And I traveled a lot. You know, if I joked that I lived in my car because I would go from one place to the next, you know, presenting on different things. And again, it was an amazing career to learn a lot of different things, but I wasn't fulfilled. I just wasn't getting what I needed to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think I was really stressed out.
You were.
In all
I
of it.
remember that you definitely were. And so for those of you listening who are kind of on that vibe right now of like, I just don't feel fulfilled in my work, like for those of them who are just kind of in that space, how were you able to make that transition? Because I do remember we were at a yoga class together months and months later, if not like even I don't know how long after we stopped working together. It was like a little bit after.
Probably like a year or so, I think.
Yeah. And you were like, I quit my job.
Yeah. So I felt like, you know, I learned so much from you. I didn't even know what the universe meant until I had a life coach. So it really helped open my mind and my heart in different ways that I just didn't know what these things meant. I got to include a lot more, you know, meditation into my life. And I think all of those things just put me a little bit more at peace. But ask the question again.
So how did you get to the place where you were like, I'm ready. I have to quit my job. Like, I'm ready.
So,
and make a transition.
I remember it like yesterday. I was just so busy. When I started at this company, we had 7 clients. I was there for a year and a half and we had 50. So we grew so quickly. By the time I ended, I had 5 employees. When I started, there was nobody. So lots of moving parts throughout the whole journey. And I think I just got to the point where I'm a very fun, loving, happy person the majority of the time. And I was just getting so miserable. And I was acting miserable to the people in my life. And that's just not who I am. That's not the energy I want to spread to anybody. But I was just waking up miserable every single day. And it kind of just dawned me one day where I was like, I can't live my life like this. Like, am I just going to go on every vacation working? Like, what's the point? I'm not present in the moment or any of those things. So there were a few weeks where I just woke up upset every morning. And I was just like, I've got to get out of this. Yeah. I have to make a transition. This just isn't good for my mental well-being anymore. And how am I going to continue through life just hustling, never giving myself a break, not really being in tune with my body, and just pretending like none of those things matter. So one specific morning, I woke up and I just remember crying and just being like, I can't do this. I just don't want to do it. And that day, my boss called me. She wasn't just my boss. I met her, 7 years before that. She was a mentor to me. She taught me everything I knew in the healthcare business. She was like a mom to me, a friend, just so much. So it was a tough conversation to have. But she called me and she said, hey, is everything okay? And of course I lied, because that's sometimes what you do when you're putting this front on. You just try to be strong and not really let your true emotions out. And I said, yes, everything's fine. And then she said, are you sure? And I said, I just don't want to do this. And I started crying hysterically. And it was in that moment where her advice back to me was, I don't want to make anyone's life miserable. And I think everyone needs to do what they need to do in life. So if this is not what you want to do, I'm happy to help you fly and do what you want.
You know what time it is. It is time to turn your coaching calling into a coaching craft and become a world-class certified quantum coach. Applications are open right now for a very limited time to join us for this next cohort that is going to completely change the trajectory of your business and your life. And I know some of you have heard me talk about QCA over and over and over again, and some of you have just heard it for the first time, or it's like you're hearing it for the first time. And you're like, wait, maybe I do want to do this. Maybe this is the right program for me. And that is what our application process is here to help you make that decision on, is applying to the program, getting on a call with myself or my team member so we can help you make the best decision for yourself. The Quantum Coaching Academy has 4 powerful phases of transformation. We teach you all the foundations that you need to be a powerful space holder and know how to ask powerful questions. And we teach you advanced coaching tools as well to help your clients go through deep processes and really deepen their skill set. And we teach you all of the NLP content that you need, neuro-linguistic programming. We equip you with 8 certifications to be world-class at taking your clients through powerful transformations to the point where your testimonials will speak for themselves. It's time to stop coaching from your own personal experience and your own personal development and what you've gone through. We want to teach you how to actually be a powerful coach. And being a powerful coach has nothing to do with your own experience. It's usually your experience that leads you to wanting to become a coach in the first place. You're like, I've gone through this powerful transformation and now I want to help other people go through it. But what got you to your transformation might not be what gets someone else to theirs. And so we have so many beautiful skills and processes and tools and certifications to help give you the confidence that you need to be able to say to someone and look at someone in the face or through Zoom and say, I know I can help you. And to be so confident in your abilities to take someone through true change, lasting change, generational healing. It's so powerful. Our community is so beautiful. It's so strong. And we're waiting for you. We're waiting for you to say yes. And I know it can feel scary. It can bring up so many different things all the way around, but I just want you to be brave enough to apply. Be brave enough to take one step and get yourself one step closer to what you see yourself doing. And I was just having this conversation with my husband. We were talking about how fast life goes by. Life goes by so quickly. And it's like we don't have time to stress and to worry and to focus on things that are not taking us where we ultimately want to be. We need to really embrace where we are and go for it. We need to go for the things that set our soul on fire, even if it's scary, just by taking one step at a time. So I want to invite you to apply right now. The link is in the show notes or in my Instagram bio at thequantum.coach. Apply now, set up your call, and let's see if this is the right fit for you. And we can't wait to connect to see if you are meant to be a quantum coach. Wow.
So I think having an amazing leader through that journey just made it a little bit more seamless. But at the same time, I mean, I had 3 more months left at the company. It was kind of like our tax season time period. And I said I would just get us through because I wasn't going to leave anyone hanging at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And then that summer, I mean, it was my first time in my entire life. I had no job. I had no idea what I was doing next. I've always been the person that's had a 5-10 year plan. Like I know what's going to happen. And I just was finally ready to just trust the universe and see where the world was going to take me. And my goal for the summer of 2018 was to be a beach bum.
Yes. And that is what you did.
It is what I did.
It was a great summer.
Absolutely.
So I remember after that, well, first of all, I just want to say that's so brave. It's so brave to do what you did and to speak up, but also, like you said, to have that leadership of someone on your side, even though it was her company, she wanted what was best for you. And not just for herself and for her own gain or for her own company, which I think speaks a lot about who she is and the relationship that you had. So I think that's important to note because it does make a difference who you're working with and for. So that summer you just chilled.
I just chilled.
You traveled.
I traveled a lot. That was the summer. You know, I got to see a lot of my friends and family. I just really got to see everybody. And then I finally got home and I decided, what am I going to do? Like, I just have all this free time. I started exercising more, started cooking more, doing more yoga, just things that I like, spending more time on the beach, and just seeing all the people in my life that I love. But I was like, just so used to doing things. I was like, what am I going to do? And I've always just been really interested in real estate. Anytime I've lived somewhere, I just look up houses for fun. I love decor. I just want to know what the inside of everyone's home looks like.
Yeah.
So I saw that I get my real estate license in 9 days.
Yeah.
And I had nothing else to do. So I got a bachelor's, I got a master's. I spent 6.5 years going to school. I was like, well, what's 9 days? Yeah, what is 9 days? So I did it. I did the 9 days. I worked to get my real estate license. And before I went through the 9 days, I think I had shared with you, I quit my job. And that's when you were like, wait.
No, that was, you told me you quit your job. We met at a real estate class at Enlightened Cafe.
Right.
And then after that, we met at another real estate class, and you were like, I'm getting my real estate license. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, your days of real estate
Yeah, my days are over. But we met at a yoga class again. Everything involves yoga.
Yes, always.
All the transitions involve yoga. And you were like, I'm getting my real estate license. And I was like, okay. My husband works in real estate. You did not know Todd.
I had no idea who Todd was. Yeah. I knew nothing about him. I didn't even know your husband was a real estate agent.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, I have a real estate background. My husband and his family are in real estate. So it was just interesting when JoJo said that, because I was like, oh my God, because I knew JoJo's work ethic. I knew how, committed you are when you're committed to something. And just, I was like, you should totally work with Todd.
I remember exactly what you said. You said, you are the perfect person for my husband.
Yeah. Get married. Just kidding. So it worked out because he really needed an assistant at the time. And so that's how you started, and you learned the whole business.
And it was one of the best things I could ever do. I highly recommend, if you want to learn something new out there, do it from the bottom, learn all the ins and outs, because it just makes you so much stronger. And it really helped me streamline processes, because I saw ways that they were being done and just ways we could do them even better.
Yeah, so not only did she help Todd streamline his own business, but she learned how to streamline for herself, as she was making the transition to selling and listing full time. So that was in 2018-ish.
Yeah.
And then 2019, you were full swing.
I was still doing a little bit of both, but I was starting to kind of get my hands under selling more, because 2018, I think I got licensed July of 2018. I sold 2 properties that year, and I was just so excited to, help people make some of the biggest decisions of their life. But I remember 2019, I sold 6. Then 2020 happened, and my goal was to sell 20 properties in 2020, and I sold 22. And then we transitioned to 2021, and I sold 26. So it's been quite a journey.
Such a journey. And not to mention, JoJo got really into manifestation, and she's, you put it out there, and you have a vision board, and you write your goals and your intentions and all of that. And so, we became very close, over the last, since I met, we've just kept coming closer. Actually, it's really funny. This is a total side note, but when JoJo and I were coaching together, she came to one of our sessions, and she's like, I just got this new car. She's like, I love it. It's an Audi convertible. It was a white Audi convertible. And I was like, oh my God, this car is sick. I was like, I fucking love it. My lease was about to be up. And I was like, I came home that night, rocket of desire went off. I was like, Todd, I need to get a convertible, as soon as possible. And so thank you for giving me that desire.
Absolutely.
And then we became convertible sisters.
Best decision ever. You can't live at the shore and not have a convertible.
Yeah.
It's a must-have.
Yeah, it's a must-have. So, I don't know. That's just a total aside. But you helped me manifest that car.
I'm so helpful. I'm so glad. I hope I help more people manifest cool cars like that.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure you are. So anyway, we became really close over the years. And I think that you have a knack for business and in general. You have a really good eye for business and just teams and how processes work and how teams work and just the infrastructure of business. And I know I've consulted with you personally on business and stuff, and I forget what made you say So should I join QCA or something? Like, how did that happen?
So I think it started because I was really interested in NLP, and I was
NLP, that's right.
I just thought NLP would be a really good thing for me to learn more about in real estate and understand, people's behaviors and how to say things. And I just really wanted to be a better communicator, because I think communication is just so important in every single industry that you work in. So you and I started talking about NLP, and then I feel like one day you were just joking. You were like, you should join QCA.
Yeah.
And then I started asking questions and, learning
That's right.
more about it and, kind of researching it more. And I was a little unsure. I was like, I don't know. Because it's a commitment, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to really dedicate my time to this program so I could get the most out of it, to be able to, fully embrace it. And I think I was a little unsure, but it was January of this year. I just got back from a 33-day vacation, and I just wanted to figure out, what was my next goal to do?
Yeah, personal goal.
Personal goal. What else can I do for myself? So we started talking, and I joined QCA, and, the rest is really history. That was just kind of how it all went down.
Well, I just want to say that I think that also, I know from real estate and mostly any entrepreneurial venture that you, have, or business that you own, you are coaching people. You are.
Absolutely.
And I know firsthand in real estate, I was coaching people. I was listening to them. I was asking them powerful questions. I was making sure that I was hearing what they were saying correctly. I was validating, we were talking about this before. So there's so many parallels to it. So, okay, so you joined QCA and you started learning.
I joined QCA and I started learning, about just different communication methods, what validating was, what it is to ask scaling questions, which is my favorite thing to do, which a scaling question is, putting a numerical value to that question and really having some basis around it. So it was interesting. I remember our first few weeks in QCA just learning the basics of this is what coaching is. These are some techniques and tools. And I started getting on calls with, potential clients. So in the real estate world, I work with leads, right? People that I know nothing about. And Cold leads. And I want to nurture them. So that first conversation with them is so important to build that rapport and that trust and all of those details. So it was just interesting. I remember being on calls with leads being like, trying to connect with them about something. And then at that point, really listening to what they want and what they desire and what is the most important thing for them in their dream shore house or a second home in this area.
Yeah.
Really putting some qualifications around it and just having a good idea of what they want. So the more information I get, the better it is for me, because then I'm sending them properties that they're interested in. I don't want to send people things that are not even of substance to them. So that was interesting. And just, getting better at asking questions and more powerful questions where people weren't just saying yes or no. Mm-hmm. Asking them an open-ended question where they were forced to really give me some feedback and information, and then just really continuing that dynamic. Step one is nurturing them. Step two is, I found you a house, let's go look at it. And then, continuing to build that rapport, learning some of our different NLP techniques of, marrying someone to really build rapport.
I was going to say, when you say building rapport, there's actually technique to that. It's not just a word that's oh yeah, I hope to build rapport with someone, but there's actually things that you can do to build that trust with someone immediately.
Absolutely.
Because that's valuable when you're in real estate. You're meeting a stranger for the first time, showing them houses. Sometimes they're going in your car. You have to talk to them. You have to know how to work the conversation.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I think, I've learned a lot of different things. Everyone's personality is different. I've also learned everyone's desires and what they're looking for is completely different. The house that I want to live in and the house that you want to live in, they're two different things.
Right.
So it's not my job and responsibility to talk about a house. I let people go into the house, get their own feeling, get their own vibe. And if they have questions for me, I answer them at that time. But it's such a huge decision, and you've got to make sure that it makes sense for you. So a lot of times my clients will ask me, well, what do you think about this house?
Yeah.
And I always give, my honest opinion, but what we're all looking for is different. And I think that's the key around real estate.
And then also learning how to flip the question to them to be able to have them discover that for themselves of like, well, what do they really think about the house?
Right. And I always try to ask them for feedback too. Like, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
I always try to show more than one house so we can compare them.
Yeah.
And also rate them. Like, this is a 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And these are the things I liked about this home and these are the things that I didn't. And I think too, I've had some clients that have been open to journaling their pros and cons of this is what I really want, especially like first-time home buyers. There's a lot of nurturing that is done when someone's buying a house for the first time. You have no idea what this process is. You have no idea what to do. There's a lot of money being put into this. There's all these limiting beliefs of, can I do it? How much can I afford? How am I going to do it? What does this all mean?
People can get scared. You have to know how to hold space for them too. Because like, it's actually, Todd would come home and he's like, sometimes like, oh my gosh, like I felt like I was a therapist today. And it's not like he loves it. Like he would love to be that he loves being there for people genuinely. But it's true. Like it's a huge thing and there's money involved and there's mindset and there's beliefs like you were saying. And sometimes there's different family members involved. Sometimes negotiations can be very stressful. So that adds another layer of stress.
And there's a lot of emotions involved, Because it's such a big decision. So I totally agree. I joke around that I'm, a part-time therapist in my real estate business because I'm just there to...
But you're really just an undercover coach.
I'm an undercover coach, absolutely. And I'm just there to hold space for my clients, help them really get what they need, and just learning some of the tools and techniques from QCA are things that I didn't even know existed prior to it. So it was so good for me to join QCA and just learn something so different. I am a true believer that the sky is the limit, and every individual out there should continue to learn and grow. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether it's real estate or you own your own business. I mean, we all do customer service at the end of the day. And I think the way that you say things is so impactful.
So impactful. Oh my gosh. I had an experience yesterday with an Etsy person where I wanted to order something for my baby shower, and I called and she was just so rude and so invalidating wouldn't even let me get my question out, wouldn't listen.
So frustrating. Such
a basic skill. And I literally said on the phone, can I just get my question out? Because she was asking me questions before I finished my question. And I literally had the thought, I'm like, you need QCA. Bye. That's vicious. No, but you're right. Like, I do think like these skills are transferable. People have said to me, what if I don't end up as a coach? Everything that you learn here will be beneficial to you in your life.
For sure. And to be honest, when I went into QCA, it wasn't my goal to be a coach. And where I am right now in my life, it's not my goal to be, a coach either. But I think maybe down the line, if I wanted to get into real estate coaching, there's so much opportunity out there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really just what matters. You don't have to get into QCA because you want to be a life coach. It's really a program to help you learn, develop, and just learn new skill sets. And one of my favorite parts of QCA that just made it really hands-on, because I know that I had kind of shared with you, I don't do very well on Zoom. I'm an in-person kind of girl.
Yeah.
When I went to school, I always had to be there in person. So it was nerve-wracking for me. I was like, how am I going to show up and all of the things? But having this container of all these, beautiful souls and being able to be with them every Thursday, it's like I wanted to show up. I wanted to be there. And the part that was really kind of fun, in my opinion, was you get a coach and a client.
Mm-hmm. You get to practice.
So you get to practice during all of this. And it's just practice. It doesn't matter there's no such thing as right or wrong.
Right.
You're just practicing and practicing and practicing. And then you start realizing you're practicing with your friends and your family as well, because you just keep doing it, which is the best way to...
you keep coaching everyone.
You keep coaching everyone and yourself throughout the process. But having a coach was really, really impactful. I know that I've been on this social media journey. I don't know if you remember when we were in Nashville for the Berkshire Hathaway conference, you helped me get my Facebook back. And that was in 2020, I think.
That was right before the pandemic.
It was one of our last trips that I think either of us went on in quite some time. But I remember being there and you're like, you have to get your Facebook back. And I'm like, I hate social media. I don't want to do this. I don't want to show up.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you need to do this.
And I started, but I think I still had limiting beliefs around, like, I didn't want to put a reel together. I didn't want to, it was just, nerve-wracking and I was terrified.
And I just want to say that's very common for entrepreneurs, no matter whether you're a coach or you work in real estate or whatever your business is, it can feel like scary to put yourself out there. So just want to put that out there.
Definitely. But I had this amazing coach that
in QCA.
In QCA, yes, an amazing coach, in QCA. Besides QCA, I haven't had a coach since you, which was a few years ago. So it was just nice being able to be held accountable for things and have someone to talk about, whether it was just venting or figuring out what I needed or having, some sort of breakthrough during it all. But one of my last few sessions with my coach was really talking about social media and just how I just didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And she really just helped change my perspective of like, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? The worst thing that can happen is no one's going to like your post. I mean, someone's going to like it. You're going to like it. I know you will always like my post.
Always. You can always count on me. Fangirl.
But it's just one of those things. So it just got me thinking, and I finally posted my first reel. She was so proud of me. I was so excited.
I was so proud of you.
I was just... never thought I would do it, and now I've been a reel machine ever since, and really actually hired an assistant, over the summer to help me, build on that, and it's fun now. It's not like, I've got to do this again. Like, I'm enjoying it, and it's fun, and it's just exciting to see my growth, during QCA, and really growing with the program, mm-hmm. learning the tools, the skills, working with the coach, and then you have your own client, and just seeing the whole circle of everything come together.
So cool. First of all, your social media game has taken new heights. And not to mention, people are starting to find you through your social media to look at houses with you.
I just showed someone in Dallas, Texas, properties a few weeks ago. And I asked them, I said, how'd you find me? They said, #Atlantic City.
Wow.
That was amazing.
That is like such confirmation. Because like, imagine like selling a house that way.
For sure. No, I totally agree. And it's been exciting too. I mean, just in my day-to-day life of going to the yoga studio, going to the office, I've run into so many, local individuals that I know, and everyone keeps saying to me, wow, like your social media is really popping off. I've had so many people in my life notice it. And I think that's really exciting for me too, that, what was I so afraid of?
Yeah, people love it. They're so supportive of it. Not to mention JoJo does a really good, like, I don't know if this is your strategy, but you do promote a lot of local businesses, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, I think it's helpful. I mean, I love where I live, and I think it's important to know where you can go and what you can do, and just when you get here, all the different things that you can do.
So her Instagram is now like a resource for like these cool things that you can do in our area. So it's like she made it fun for herself to like record these things of like, these are things that she does weekly, bi-weekly, whatever. These are her fun things that she does in our area. But like now if you're interested in our area, you're seeing all these fun things too. And I think it's just such a genius idea.
It's definitely been helpful. And, to kind of put some strategy around it, I actually created a reel spreadsheet to be able to figure out how many reels, I'm putting together, how many get completed, and just being able to have some structure around this so I can just really see my progress. And that's so cool. Been huge. So anytime I have a new idea, I just throw it on my spreadsheet, and then I just keep developing it from there instead of waking up every morning being like, what the heck am I going to post today?
So smart. Yeah. See, that's like your systems. And I saw her spreadsheet and I'm like, I need that spreadsheet. Can you send that to me? Thanks. And it's just so great to see your growth. Like over the years, like you've grown so much. How do you feel like learning the skills that you've learned in QCA helped you in your like negotiations?
I think it was huge. So, this year, for example, I had a pretty amazing listing. It was a beach block listing. It was listed at $950, and the seller of it was, a little bit older. They were an attorney, so, a little bit more of a strict personality that I was dealing with. But I've worked with them for the last few years, and, I got them 3 offers so quickly.
Wow.
It was super exciting, and I think that QCA and the tools that I've learned have helped me better in negotiation to really, again, it's the way that you say it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come back and say, oh, the offer's declined. The end.
Yeah.
It's more of a, well, it doesn't look like the seller's going to accept that, but if 1 to 10, how much do you want this house?
Yeah.
10 being, this is your dream house. If you tell me it's a 10 out of 10, I'm going to put my strongest foot forward to get this for you.
Yes.
So that part really helps. Again, scaling questions have been huge for me to really understand my client's perspective, because, we can't read people's minds.
You really
but
can't.
Back to the listing that I was speaking about. I mean, I worked on this for a while. Long story short, the seller decided not to sell it, even though they got a dream offer. They decided that it was more important to enjoy the property with their family for another few years, and that's part of the business as well. But again, it's just building that relationship. I mean, that had happened a few months ago, and I've still talked to the seller 4 times since then.
Yeah.
Just to carry the conversation and continue building that rapport. And when the time is here where they do want to sell it, I'm always here to be able to help them.
And I feel like you told me during that process, I don't know what part it was. I don't know if it was you when you were giving him suggestions on like how to change some of the aesthetics in his house or whatever. You were helping him with something, get it ready to be sold. You called me or we talked and you were like, I definitely like use my NLP and it's really working. Like,
yes, because the house, it needed a little bit of touching up. Things needed to be a little cleaned up, and it was just the way of how I was able to communicate those things and how we were able to communicate them together. And I just felt like my whole conversation with this seller, I've known this seller for the last, few years, but since NLP, I felt like I had a stronger connection with them, because when they would say, well, no, I don't want to do this, I would say, well, what do you want to do instead?
Yeah.
But I was able to keep the conversation going and just to try to really find out what their desire truly was, instead of going in circles and being in my head about it, just wondering what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So good. So good. Oh, this is great. I'm loving this so much. So what would you say to someone who is like, I wonder if I should do QCA now, and like how much it could help me, or like, someone who maybe doesn't want to be a coach but is interested in learning these skills that we offer?
I would say do it in a heartbeat, because I definitely went through those same emotions of like, I mean, I'm not going to be a life coach, so like, why am I going to do this? But to be honest, those 6 months were transformational, learning so many new tools, techniques, things that I didn't know, and just also being in a really great group of individuals that you had support to be able to do different things. So without a doubt, I would say just go for it. Just put those limiting beliefs behind, go for it, just fully embrace it, be present in the moment, enjoy it all. I mean, I will say it's not an easy task to complete, so you definitely need to put your full heart and soul into this program, but you're going to come out even better than before.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I did not pay her to say that.
I truly mean that. I really do. I don't like to pay for programs that aren't meaningful to me and don't bring value.
Yeah. No, we definitely try to bring a ton of value, and I'm so glad that it felt that way for you. It makes me so happy. And it makes me happy that you're using it in a unique way that works for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think whether you're going to use it in your business or your personal life, I mean, I have so many friends that, come to me with things, and I ask them, I say, do you want me to be your friend or do you want me to be your coach? Because they're 2 different perspectives.
Yeah.
And sometimes they want coaching. So it's just been helpful in my personal life to be able to help work with my friends and be able to help them figure out what it is that they truly desire, and also just figuring out goals. I feel like in QCA, I'm very goal oriented, as you know. I love figuring out my goals.
Yep.
I love my vision board. I love putting spreadsheets together.
Yeah.
I love just doing all of that detailed work, and I feel like it was really exciting to learn some of the different goal techniques through QCA, because it was more mindful than, the way that I had learned to go around goals and to make sure that they fully align with you than just saying, I'm going to do these 300 things.
Yes. Yeah. Our goal setting process is so dialed in. I'm glad that you like that. I love that shit too.
Always.
So good. So I have to ask you, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and for coming on here. I asked JoJo if she wanted to do a podcast like a month ago, and she was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. And then we went to breakfast today, and I'm like, so you want to be on the podcast or what? She's like, I'll think about it. And I'm like, well, think about it because we're going to do it today. So thank you.
Of course, you're so welcome. Happy to support you.
Yeah, and I'm happy, this is awesome. If you guys want to find real estate in this area, she is so your person. She's amazing.
Thank you.
So I have to ask you, what makes you a badass manifester?
So it's a really good question. I think what makes me a badass manifester is, just truly doing what my heart desires, not really thinking about the money aspect of things and doing things that fully align with what I want to do, which is kind of my transformation. I mean, when I left healthcare, I took a huge pay cut to go into the world of real estate. And, it took a few years to build up, but I've now surpassed my income in my healthcare industry. And that to me is just so exciting, because I think you get to a point when you start anything new where you're like, am I going to make money? Am I ever going to make money? Is this ever going to happen? And then it's like, when I look back at the last 3 years, I have put my heart and soul into real estate and really meditated and worked, on a lot of different manifestations. And I feel like they've all been just coming through over time. I'll never forget last year when I sold my highest sale at $995. I kept saying I wanted to sell $1 million house, and it was a little short, but it was just so exciting to make all of that come into fruition.
It's so beautiful watching you just crush your goals and be super laser focused on what it is you're creating, but also, like you said, know what your heart truly desires. I love that.
And I think too, one really important thing that I've learned in real estate is, it doesn't matter if it's a $50,000 sale or $1 million sale. It's about helping the person at the end of the day. And the person that might be buying the $50,000 sale may buy 200 other properties from you over time. You just never know who knows what's connected, and really where the universe will take you.
Yes. Boom. On that note, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Where can everyone watch your amazing real estate reels and connect with you on social media? Where can they find you?
You can find me at jojo.sandhu on Instagram.
You want to spell that?
Yes, it's JoJo period, and then Sandhu like sand, SANDHU.
Do you like the beach because your last name has sand in it?
I
never noticed that.
That's how I've always told people how to say my last name.
Oh my God, that's so great. That's so great. And you have a website too, right?
Yes, it's on my bio for my Instagram, so You'll see the link right in there.
Perfect.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you all for listening. Of course, you can always reach out to JoJo or myself. Let us know what your favorite part of this episode was. We had a great time recording it. We know you had a great time listening to it. And QCA, man, if you're interested, apply. The applications are open. The time is now. And what happens is once you apply, we hop on a call with myself or my team, and we make sure it's the right fit for you, and we answer all of your questions. It is like a really great clarity call. So no strings attached. You have nothing to lose. Put in your application, and we'll take it from there. Have an amazing rest of your day. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.